Begin the current and final daf, Mesechta Gitin Daf Tzadi of Mesechta Gitin, where the Mishnah continues with an interesting Mishnah about what are the bases, the grounds for divorce, allowing a husband to divorce his wife. Some discussing today's daf is when a husband may divorce his wife. Beishamai says only if she acted inappropriately, there's some type of arayas going on. Basil says no, even if she burnt his food. Rabbi Kiva says even if he found a more beautiful one than her, he's allowed to divorce her. Now the question in the Gemara is what happens if he doesn't find erva, doesn't find any other excuse, but he divorces her? Is he obligated to remarry her or not? The Gemara says something interesting, that just like there's different opinions regarding food, people are very delicate with their food, so too regarding women. There's Tom for yeah. Everyone's different. Some people are more picky about that thing, some people whatever. And the famous Gemara that the Gemara ends off with, whoever divorces his first wife, second wife is different already, but first wife, then even the Mizbeach sheds tears on such a person. Now, the pasuk of Gerushin that says, which is going to be the main foundation of today's daf, it says, Ki yikach ish isha. If a man's going to take a woman, the bala is going to have intimacy with her. She's not going to find favor in his eyes. So if he finds her regarding something of Arias, he's going to write for her the book of severance, but also he's going to put it in her hand. He's going to send her out of his house. So that's where our Mishnah begins, on the top line of that tzad. They say, the person is not allowed to divorce his wife, unless he finds in her something of immorality. She was mazana. Somebody says a pasuk in Devarim. The pasuk says, as we mentioned, you find something regarding adultery, regarding the wife. So that's what the pasuk says. You write a sefer crease, you give it to her, and you send her packing. They say no, even if she burns the food, either the flame was too high, or she salted it too much. But those are both terminologies of burning the food. Even that is grounds for divorce. Don't get excited. Shneimar says the pasuk in Kimatzaba Ervas Davar, where Rashi explains, according to Beis Hill, the word Ervas Davar is not one thing; it's two things, as the Gemara will explain. It means either erva or some other davar of messing things up, of spoiling what's happening. It's erva or davar. Kivaima, he says that even if you don't find no erva, no davar, it says says even if you just find a more beautiful woman, is grounds for divorce. It says in the pasuk over there, if she's not going to find favor in his eyes, that's it. Which obviously, if you understand Gemara well, this is not chauvinism. This is not. It's that if you can't find your wife to be the most beautiful woman, then you don't belong. You don't deserve such a woman. You have to understand in the right perspective. People read this Gemara, they're like, oh, look, kikna, shine. Yeah, that's it. This guy has roving eyes. We're not talking about those guys. If you find a woman more beautiful than your wife, you don't deserve having this woman, and then you should leave that marriage. So, and if for you this thing bothers you when she burns the soup, get out. You don't belong. This woman deserves a guy better than you. So you have to know the perspective of what the Mishnah is trying to tell us. I think most of the time learn the brisa. Amar Beisil Beishamai. So a little bit of a technical discussion over here. Beisil says to Beishamai, wait a second. Like find them a davar. You tell me it's only for arayas? That's only grounds for divorce? It doesn't say erva. It says erva's davar. There's the word davar. The word davar sounds like something else. Someone Beishamai says, but like find them ervas. But it says erva's davar. It's as achven erva. Beisil says, yeah, but im nema ervas below nema davar. I'll tell you why it says. If we would say ervas without the word davar, I would say you're right. Mishum erva teitze, she has to leave because only of arayas. Mishum davar teitze, but you don't kick her out for something else. Like kach nema davar, that says the word davar. And the ilan nema davar nema ervas had it said the word davar without the word ervas. I would say mishum davar when she is leaving from her husband because of something else, not because of arayas. That's where the pasuk says tinas lach she could get married to someone else because it says okay, v'his l'shach she gets married to someone else. Someone else doesn't mind fabrent zip. That's not a problem. But Mishum Erva, if he's kicking her out because she was unfaithful, then I would say she's forbidden to everyone. Like to Nasla Acha, she cannot get married even to someone else. Like Erbas never have to say that even when it's an Erbas davar, that yes, she could get married Le'ish Acher. But at least according to me, it makes sense why it says Erbas and davar. It says the Gemara Beishamai, you're right. Hi davar my abdi. What do they do with the word davar? Because this pasuk they understand that it's specifically talking about arayas. But if that's the case, it should have said erva b'davar. That would sound like an erva through witnesses, which is always in the word of davar. But why does it say ervas davar? Says the Gemara, because nemakan davar. It says over here in this pasuk the word davar. Nemakan davar, it says over there also in the pasuk in Devarim the word davar. It says al pishne edim al pishleisha edim yakum davar. It says based on 2 witnesses, 3 witnesses, they will establish the thing. Ma'alahan b'shnei edim, just like over there is 2 witnesses. Avkam b'shnei edim, also over here is 2 witnesses, meaning a verification. She does not become forbidden in because of a rise, only if there's clear proof. If some guy comes along and he says, I want you to know, I saw your wife with that guy and then that hotel, whatever, that's not enough. It has to be davar. Has to be a verification of witnesses to verify. But Basil would say no. This davar is you're right. Is excluding from the Basil says differently. Well, they said like miksiv erva bedavar. That if you said erva bedavar, that would sound like that the erva was in davar, which was the pasuk of apishnei miyakum davar, which was verification. It doesn't say this is erva's davar. But in Bishame they say miksiv oy erva oy davar. It doesn't say either erva or davar. According to you, Basil, you're saying it's either one or the other. Yeah, but says Basil, no, you're right. The reason why it says ervas davar is because that it's alluding to the idea about the Edom. When we need to force him to divorce her. We don't force him to divorce unless there's verified witnesses. But ervas davar, the reason why it says ervas davar and it doesn't say erva bid davar, and it also doesn't say oy ervas oy davar, is so that we can darshan both of them. Mashmahachi sounds like both. The word ervas davar, since it's not erva bid davar, sounds like either rice or davar. And at the same time, it also sounds like ervas davar, which is that this erva has davar in it, which is al pishnayim and yakan davar, which is the 2 witnesses. Meaning, we force you in these 2 witnesses. But when we don't have 2 witnesses, you could divorce based on either when you know there's some arayis going on, or some other davar, like she burnt the food, is also grounds for divorce. That was Beishame and Beisil. Rabbi Kiva, the Mishnah said, even if you find a more beautiful woman, that's also, you could divorce for that. So the Gemara said, what are they disagreeing about? So the Gemara in the teaching of Rish Lakish. Kedamar Shlakish, he says, the word ki is Meshamish Bedal L'Shainis. Has 4 different translations for the word ki. And those are e, which is if, like im, Dilma, perhaps, Ella, but, and the ha, which is because, which Rashi goes through in the great Arichis, showing many different psukim to explain which psukim have the words ki, and proving that what it means, that if it's going to be like this, or means but, and he proves that the translation of those psukim have to be the way it's being said, and again, it's an interesting Rashi just to go through, but this machlekes is in how to translate the word ki in this pasuk, because like Rashi, like the Gemara says, Beishame Saver, they hold that when it says in the pasuk, V'haya im loisimtzachim be'einav, it says that if she's not going to find favor in his eyes, it says the next words, ki matzah ba'ervas davar. How do you translate ki matzah ba'ervas davar? Remember, the word ki could have 4 different translations. So it says the Gemara, Beishame hold the word ki here is daha, as generally it's translated, because daha matzah ba'ervas davar, because he found something of a rice regarding her. Oh, if not, then you cannot divorce her. And Rashi says Basil also understands that it means because. Because he finds in her or erva or davar. But if not, you cannot divorce her. So therefore, when the pasuk says loisim tzachein, doesn't find favor, is because of what it explains of, let's say, erva or davar. But not just because she just doesn't find favor because you don't find her beautiful anymore. But Rabbi Kiva holds, he translates the word ki over here not as because of daha, but rather of im, of if. So therefore it's 2 different things. Im loisim tzachein. If she, not because, if she doesn't find favor of any like beauty in his eyes, Ki matzah be'erbes davar means to say inami, or also if matzah be'erbes davar, she finds an erva of davar. So it's two different things. It's one of v'hayim le'simtzachim me'in, it doesn't find favor, and also if matzah be'erbes davar. So that's the machlekes about how you translate the word ki. Ezicht, was?
Not because he suspected, and now he found something.
That was.
He has a legitimate reason.
Ein simcha katuras as fakes. I mean, he found whatever. So, Amler of Papa Rava says, what happens if le'matza b'loy ever v'loy dava? What happens if that he didn't find anything for Arayas, didn't find anything of, she didn't, no excuses. She always makes good supper, never did anything, wrong in the house, but he went ahead and he divorced her anyways. According to Basil, what would the halacha be? Do we force him to take her back or not? Because you have no grounds for divorce. You have to find something she did wrong, or something she didn't clean up after the kids, something epis that the house is a mess, this is not menschlich, this is not, we can't live like this. If you have no excuses, but he divorced her anyway, found someone more beautiful. But according to Basil, that holds it's not a ground, would you have to take her back? So so Rava answered, he has an interesting source. It says, from the fact that the Torah reveals, when someone rapes a young girl, the halacha, the pasuk says in Devarim, is lo yuchel l'shalcha kol yamav. He's not allowed to send her away for the rest of his life. The Gemara Makkos Daf Tezvav Manav says that the word kol yamav is seemingly superfluous. It's coming to teach you that he cannot send her away, that if he sends her away, she's not sent away all the days of his life. Meaning the courts force him to take her back, and he doesn't even get lashes for sending her away because it's a lava nitik laseh. You could remedy it by just taking her back. Because it's kol yamav ba'amad v'hechzekoi. All his days, he has to take her back. So the inference is, awesome, the Torah is revealing to you that you have to take her back. The inference would be, but over here, any person who divorces is not ba'amad v'hachazer, and then my David, what was done was done. Because as Rashi explained, if all those who divorce their wives have to take it back without good grounds, why would I need to have a special source? Well, over here, for sure that you're not allowed to divorce. I don't have to tell you that you have to take her back. Obviously, a regular woman that even though there was no grounds of divorce, if you divorce, even according to Basil, that you would not have to take her back. Now, related discussion, the Gemara brings Rabbi Shloimy Schwartzberg. He says, "Im liboy legarsha." This guy is already thinking about divorcing her already. But she's living with him and she's serving him. Now, what's the halacha? Is he going to get punished for this or not? Meaning, this is something that happens, guys. They're really it's a matter of time before he finds the time to strike. But she's sitting and she's serving him. So Kari Aleh, who recites the pasuk of Mishlei, Al tacharoish al re'achara. Don't think on your friend bad. Yoshev levetach itach, and he's sitting confidently with you. Basically, that she thinks she's like, wow, such a beautiful relationship, and he's waiting for the day to just strike it. And again, the person will get punished for living with her in that way. On the brisa, very interesting brisa. He says, just like there's different personality types. When it comes to how delicate people are with their food and with their beverage, you have certain people that are very delicate. And it doesn't take much that he gets disgusted by someone touched the food, someone looked at the food, someone breathed over the food, whatever it was, that, it's a little bit too well done. That's it. It's done. He can't even look at it. And there are people that they don't care. These people, they can eat. The franks were left over from 3 days. These guys are eating it. They take like a roommate of mine that once had. He took fish sticks straight out of the box. He would keep it in his drawer and eats the raw fish sticks. Yeah, people, different types, not so delicate at all. So just like different personalities regarding food, so too, there's different personalities people have when it comes to pretzes, to breaches of modesty. You have people that are very particular regarding a little breach of modesty. And there's some people that say, I care, my wife is talking with this guy, going there, whatever, they don't care. There's different types of personalities. As the Gemara explains, you have a person, a fly falls into his cup, he throws it away, he doesn't drink it. That's it, the whole thing is in garbage. This was the characteristic Papas, the son of Yehuda, who is the husband of Miriam the Shetelmacha, the hairdresser. He would lock the door in his wife's face and leave. Meaning, when he would go out to the street, he would lock her in the house that she shouldn't speak with anyone. Because he was neurotic when they came to these things. You're not going to speak to another man. You're not going out. I don't know what's going to happen. And if anyone has such a thing, please find someone to call. There's enough ads out there ready for these types of situations. As Rashi says, this is not appropriate because obviously it's going to cause hatred between them. And she is actually going to be mizana because she's in a loveless relationship over here. This husband is crazy, who locks her up in the house when he goes out. Can't speak to anyone. It takes away her phone. Okay. Then you have a certain person, a fly could fall into his cup. Okay, Bizarka, he throws out the fly. But just hey, drinks the drink. It's a good cocktail. He's not throwing out the drink, the last one that he has because a fly that fell in. Vizumi diskaladam. That's the attribute of every person. That's the common man would do such a thing. And the nimshal is she speaks with her brothers, her relatives. He leaves her. You speak to your brother, you speak to your relatives. You care about them. No, she can speak with her relatives and brothers. Now, you have a person the other extreme. The fly falls into the serving plate. He sucks out the food from the fly, and he eats it, right? Whether it means that he's eating the fly or whatever it is, but as the schmitz, he eats it. Zumi this adam ra. That's the characteristic of a bad person. He sees his wife going out. Her hair is uncovered. She's spinning the thread in the street as a Gitin Daf bays. That by her arms, the way the French women go, the Western culture that they have, that their sleeve is opened by the elbow, is that it's split. So it's like it's open on both sides, that it's showing her a lot of skin. And she's bathing she's swimming with other men. With men, you think that mixed swimming? See how extreme the Gemara's reaction was. Then of course it's indicating fact is that she was Mazana, and she's also with him. So says the Gemara, no, Ella, rather we mean b'makim shnei adin reichetzin. In a place where people swim, like Rashi explains, meaning in front of them, after they left, the men's swimming hours was over. This woman walks right in after they're leaving, and they're getting dressed there in the pool area. This woman's like, sorry men, it's 2:00, it's swimming time. She goes in, she's, that type, and she's going in. So, zu mitzvah min ha'torah legarsha. Such a woman, which is this third category, this guy, her husband doesn't care. Yeah, what do I care when my wife does this? She does this, yeah, let her do whatever she wants to. This is a mitzvah to divorce. And you should send her out of your house. Now, the pasuk says, she goes and she marries another man. So hakasav kara acher, the pasuk is calling this other man acher, another. In other words, to say that she'ein zeh ben zuga l'rishon, that he's not the same characteristic, the same personality as the first husband. Because this guy gets rid of this nasty woman from his house. This guy says, yeah, I like this one. She's my type, right? And he gets married to this one. He's an acher. Now, zacher sheni, if the second guy is lucky as a meriftis, but if he merits, shalacha, he also gets rid of her. Shemik says in the pasuk over there, the last guy also hates her. If not, she buries him. Shemik says in the pasuk, it says, or the last guy dies, which, as the Gemara explains, kadahu b'misa, he's worthy of dying. Because the first guy had gotten rid of this wicked one, and he takes in the wicked, and he realized that this woman was already doing these types of behaviors, and therefore they got divorced, and he goes and marries her. So it is worthy of this. Now, regarding this topic of our Mishnah, that we had this machlekes about what's grounds for divorce, so the Gemara brings a pasuk in Malachi. It says, Kisane, because he hates her, Shalach, send her away. So so this is actually the chastise of the Jewish nation, but there's different ways how to read this pasuk. Rabbi Yomi says, yeah, imsanes, if you hate her, shalach, send her away. Which Rashi explains, he's like Rabbi Kiva. Whatever reason you have, if you find someone more beautiful, you hate her, that's it, that's grounds for divorce. Rabbi Yomi says, no. Translate the pasuk, Soni HaMeshaleach. The one who sends her away is hated in front of God. Because even according to Beis Hill, although we don't force you not to divorce, for let's say, burning the food, but you are hated in front of God. But says the Gemara, they're actually not disagreeing. How are they not disagreeing? Sounds like that this is the machlekes of our Mishnah. No. Rabbi Yochanan's teaching that the person is hated for divorcing his wife is bezug rishon, is the first match, the wife of his youth. That's what the pasuk is actually talking about over there, because it says after that, Eishes Norecha, the wife of your youth, and it says, V'nishmartim b'ruchachem, you should safeguard your spirit. U'be'eshes Norecha al yivgud, don't be a traitor regarding the woman that you married when you were younger. That's son hamashaleach. That's hated, the one who sends her away. That says, yeah, if you don't like her, send her away. It's bezug sheni. If it's your second marriage, go ahead. It's not working out. Move on. That's different than the first marriage, because Amr Belazar says, Kalamagarish ishtar rishayna. Whoever divorces his first wife, a film mizbech myrtle of the mois, even the altar in the Beis Hamikdash sheds tears for him. Somebody says in the pasuk before that, it says v'zois shein is tasu, and this second thing you do, that kasais dimes mizbech Hashem, you cover with tears the mizbech of Hashem, b'chiva anaka, tears and moaning, me'in oit penois el mincha, that doesn't turn anymore to the flower offering, v'lekachas ratzim miyadchem, to take this willingness from your hands. And you're going to say, why is this? Why is the Mizbeach crying tears? Al ki Hashem heid beincho bein eishes nodecha, because Hashem testifies between you and the wife of your youth, Asha'ata begaddaba, that you're a traitor on her. Veicha verescha, and she's your friend. Veishes b'resecha, and she's the wife of your covenant. And again, so we see that by the first marriage, that's where it's sanoi hamashaleach. In contrast, to the second marriage, then no problem. Then if it's sanoi, if sanesa, then shall send her away. Handalach Hamagarish, which I return to the 9th parak in Mesechtes Gitin. Hamagarish, which spoke about invalidations by Gitin. We have concluded Mesechtes Gitin, which we should be done with Mesechtes Gitin. We should be done with the Gitin from the Rebbeinu Shalom, the divorce, and Mitzvah. When we start Kedushin, we'll have the Kedushin from the Rebbeinu Shalom, B'kudev, B'yamayim, B'yolim.